Okay, Hare Krishna everybody. Welcome to another session of Bhagavad Gita as it is. We start with a Prabhupada prayer. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Visatarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Gaur. So we are in the first chapter, Bhagavad Gita. In the first chapter, basically the war has begun. The conch shells have been blown. Both the armies have come together in Kurukshetra, and Sanjay is narrating the whole incident to blind King Dhritarashtra. And Sanjay starts with Duryodhana, what Duryodhana is doing. So Duryodhana walks up to his teacher and he says, first he praises the enemy soldiers, then he praises his own team just to boost their morale. And then we see Vyasdev has given some hint on what's going to happen in the war, who's going to win. And those hints are like transcendental conch shells and the flag with Hanumanji and all that. And then we see a grand entry of Krishna and Arjun on white horse-drawn carriage. And so that was up to verse number 27. And we see a very sweet side of Lord Krishna. Though Lord Krishna is the Samast Brahmand ke Nayak, he is the proprietor of the entire universe. You know, when you read further Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we understand that millions of universe come out from his pores. That's God. So though he is so great, he is so sweet that he becomes a servant of his devotees. That is the sweetness of Krishna. So Krishna is a charioteer and Arjuna is driving the chariot, and we were introduced to them in the battlefield. And then we find that Arjuna suddenly wants to be in the middle of both the armies because he wants to have a good view of who's going to be fighting. He knew who was going to be fighting, Kauravas and all their allies. But still, just before the beginning, he wants to have one last look at them because who knows, many of them will be dead by the end of the day. That's how it is, right? Everybody doesn't come back alive. So Arjuna wants to have a good look at them. So he tells Krishna, please place my chariot in the middle of both the armies. And Krishna does that. He places the chariot in the middle of both the armies. And he places it right in front of Bhishma and Drona, two people who are most favorite for Arjuna. So Krishna knew what's going to happen. So Arjuna, so from there we go forward and now the next nearly 30 verses, that is verse number 28 to 46 of the first chapter and verse 1 to 10 of the second chapter, it's Arjuna who's mainly talking. It's just Arjuna, just one or two verses by Krishna, but basically 30 verses Arjuna is talking. And what is he talking about? When he looks at them, he has a change of heart. He was like, oh my God, these are all my family members. How can I kill them? So it's not that Arjuna has not fought wars before. He was the greatest warrior. He had fought thousands of war and he has won thousands of war before. He was a seasoned warrior. But somehow this time he has a change of heart. And then we know from Acharya's commentary that it was Krishna who deliberately put Arjuna in that position, that he has a change of heart looking at the people. So, this section, it's Arjuna says, I cannot fight. And he gives 5 reasons why he cannot fight. Arjuna looking at the army, he says, I cannot fight them because they are my own people, Swajanam. He uses the word Swajanam like 4 or 5 times when you read Bhagavad Gita. He said, they are my Swajan, I cannot fight. And he gives 5 reasons why he cannot fight. So we'll go through that quickly. So first argument Arjuna gives is compassion. He is feeling compassion for them. Verse number 28, Arjuna Uvacha. There's a Drishtve mam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupastitam Sidanti mama ghatrani mukham cha parishusyati. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth is drying up. Now Arjuna is having symptoms. He is so distressed. You know, when you are so distressed, it shows in your body. If you're a little sad, you're a little sad. When you're very sad, what happens? Tears starts coming. Your body exhibits symptoms. If you are scared, you're just a little scared. But if you're very scared, what happens? You start shivering. So when your emotions are too much, your body exhibits signs. So Arjuna is so distressed that he starts shaking, his mouth is drying up. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, it is not because Arjuna is afraid the only reason why Arjuna is so distressed is because of compassion. He's got a soft heart. He's got a soft heart, and who gets a soft heart? One who is a devotee of Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna gets soft heart. I can tell from my personal example, before, when mosquitoes bite me, that's what I do. Kill. When mosquitoes bite, this is the automatic reaction. Just kill it. No second thoughts. After coming into Krishna consciousness, when I learned that every living entity has a soul, not only soul, every living entity has soul and super soul, Atma and Paramatma. The mosquito also has Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma means Krishna is sitting in every living entity. So this is not, now mosquito bites, slowly move it. Because your heart changes. You look at life differently. Before cockroach is there, put that heat, they're gone spray. It dies, nothing. It's just a pest. But now I know it's an atma, so I don't kill it. With a dustpan, I put it outside. So change of heart happens. When you progress in your devotion, you look at life differently. So Arjuna, now when he looks at the soldiers of the enemies, he doesn't look at them as enemies. He looks at them as living entities with Krishna's own children. So he has a change of heart. Now Arjuna is again going on telling about his situation. Vepatuscha sharire me romaharshascha jayate gandivam shramsate hasta tvacheva parigahyate. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on the end, my bow gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. So all these are symptoms of Arjuna's great inner turmoil. न च शक्नोम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. I'm now unable to stand here any longer. He cannot even stand now. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of Keshi demon. Now you can see Krishna is called Keshava. As I said in every verse, his name changes. So now Krishna is called Keshava. Keshava means a killer of Keshi demon. There was a Keshi demon in the Vrindavan Leela of Krishna. We find there was different demons were there. One was Keshi demon and he killed the Keshi demon. So here Arjuna is indirectly telling Krishna, you killed the Keshi demon. Now please kill the demon of confusion that's coming over me. I'm getting bewildered. Please kill this demon that's attacking me in the form of confusion. So Arjuna's lamentation basically. So when you go to a doctor, if you're sick and you go to a doctor, the doctor what they do is first they ask your symptoms. What is the symptoms? You can say I have fever, I have vomiting, my head is paining or whatever. And based on the symptoms, the doctor diagnoses what's wrong with you. So here, Arjuna's symptoms we can see. He's crying, tears are coming, his hands are shaking, and he's lamenting. He cannot stand. Those are his symptoms. So, what is the illness? The illness is material conception of life. Remember, when we were doing the introduction, I showed an equation, a lot of formulas, and if you get the first step wrong, then your last step is going to be wrong. So the first step that you get wrong is that you think you are the body. We think we are the body. That is a mistake. We are not the body, we are the soul. We are occupying the body. We are using the body. We have used many bodies in the past. We will continue to use many bodies in the future. Just as you're wearing a dress, you're wearing the body. You are the soul. And when you think in terms of soul, you are not afraid of death. You know you never die. Soul can never die. You are not afraid of death of your loved ones. They cannot die. You connect with the soul in the other person. You don't connect with the body. But here, Arjuna is looking at the bodies. He's looking at Bhishma's body, Dronacharya's body. They are favorite people in his life. Most favorite. So, Arjuna has a material conception of life. That is a material conception of life. You're identifying with the body, your own body and body of others. Because of that, you get excessively attached to material things. Now, if you identify with your body, aham mameti. In Sanskrit, they say aham mameti, aham, me and mine. This is mine and this is me, aham mameti. You identify with the body and you get attached to material things. This is mine. That's what happens. And ignorance of the real self, you're forgetting your real self, which is what you're a soul. Now, the practical application, as I said, as we move, I want to put a lot of emphasis on the practical application. I want you to take it back with you to apply in your life. It's not just a theory. So the practical application is that do not be disturbed by the material temporary changes, because that's the nature of the material world. Remember, we were all in the spiritual world one time. We were with Krishna. Every living entity was with Krishna in the spiritual world, but slowly we started craving for independence. Like when children grow up, they crave independence. You hold the hand of a child and walk. When the child becomes bigger, he moves the hand. He says, I can walk. I want to be independent. Everybody likes to be independent. And we living entities in Krishna Loka, we also wanted to be independent. We wanted to be by ourselves, enjoy by ourselves. So Krishna put us in the material world. But guess what? The material world is temporary. Samsar, the word samsar from Sanskrit means samyak sarati iti samsara. That which keeps moving constantly is called samsara. Nothing is permanent here. Everything is moving. So we are put in this moving world and we are trying to make everything stable. It's not going to happen. It's like a house of cards. You make a house of cards, you put this part right, something falls there. You put that part right, something goes wrong. That's what's happening. And we go through life like that. Okay, once I get my degree, everything's going to be fine. Once I get my job, everything's going to be fine. Once I get married, everything's going to be fine. Once I have kids, everything's going to be fine. Once my kids grow up, everything's going to, it's never ending. That's a samsara, and we get disturbed when things don't work our way. So the practical application is that remember this is a material world. Embrace change. Nothing is constant here. Good things happen, don't be too happy. That's also going to change. Bad things happen, don't be too sad. That's also going to change. Everything's changing. So be comfortable with change. That's a practical application. So as I said, Arjuna is giving 5 arguments why he cannot fight. This first argument is just compassion. He is feeling sorry for people. He doesn't want to kill them. Okay? And I'll just skip forward to the next slide. I'll go back. So compassion, see, Prabhupada was a big advocate of Varnashrama. Varnashrama means the 4 different castes. Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, 4 castes. Our Indian society was made up of that. Unfortunately, that is very, very misunderstood today. People have got it wrong. People have got it wrong because they feel the caste system is based on birth. It is not. Caste is not based on birth. It is based on ability. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as you read, Krishna says, Janma and not Janma, it's Guna and Karma. Your caste is based on your ability, your talent, your temperament. Somebody who's very aggressive, hot-tempered, passionate, will very likely be a Kshatriya, because they need to be out in the back. Kshatriya means the one who's for protection. Their job is to protect the rest of the people. So they need to be passionate, they need to have that aggression in them. Somebody who's very peaceful, who likes to study a lot, who's not at all money-minded. Those kind of people are perfect Brahminas. Brahminas meant to study and all that. So it's not based on birth. It is never that the Brahmina's son will become Brahmina in Kshatriya. It's not like that. It was not meant to be like that, but over a period of time it became like that, unfortunately. So anyway, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. not only by birth, but he had all the qualities of Kshatriya. He was a great fighter. And a Kshatriya on a battle is not expected to show compassion. A Kshatriya's job is to fight and kill. That's his job. I'll give you an example. It's like, in our country, sometimes, very rarely, people are given death penalty, right? We had that, the Nirbhaya case, and, so they were given death penalty. So there's a hangman. The hangman's job is to hang them, right? They've gone through all the legal process, all that has been done. Finally, the hangman is called to hang them. Now, if the hangman is showing compassion to them, oh, I feel sorry, I don't want to hang them. That's stupidity. That's not what he's meant for. His job is to do it. Similarly, a Kshatriya on a war is not expected to show compassion, but Arjuna is feeling compassionate. So, so Prabhupada says Arjuna refuses to fight. He appears to have forgotten the moral code of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya dharma is to fight in the battle, not to leave the battle feeling sorry for them. That's not what Kshatriya is meant to be. And other thing is that a Kshatriya, see, when you have this Varnashrama, each caste has got a particular job based on their talent and skills. A Brahmana is, because he likes to study, his brain is more, because if you are studying the whole day, obviously your brain will be quite sharp. So a Brahmana's job is to teach others. A Brahmana is not expected to fight. A Brahmana is not expected to do cleaning and sweeping and all, because, see, we are using what he's good at. Because his brain is so sharp, that's why the kings used to have Brahmanas as, their ministers to advise them. So Brahmana's job is that. So a Kshatriya's job is to rule over a kingdom, administrative job. He has to run the country, that's his job. A Kshatriya cannot open a shop and sit like a, Vaishya. He's not a shopkeeper, he's not a cleaner, he's not a teacher. His job is to rule a country. So Arjuna, when he saw that, he is thinking, well, I don't want to fight, I'm feeling sorry for them. So that's not accepted by Krishna. So each argument that Arjuna gives, Krishna rejects it. So we'll come to that. So his second argument is that loss of enjoyment. Now this is a very practical mindset. न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे न कांक्षे विजयं कृष्ण न च राज्यं सुखानि च. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, mighty Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Now Arjuna says, I don't want to kill my family members, and even if I kill them, I don't think I'm going to be happy. Now that's a difficult situation. Firstly, he didn't want to fight. Now he says, even if I fight and kill them, and I win this war, I'll still not be happy. Then what's the point of fighting? So Prabhupada says that our mindset, normal mindset is that, it's interesting, we buy things mainly because we like to show off. Let's be honest, that's one of the main reasons. We buy a nice car or a nice house, or we buy the designer, Gucci and designer bags or whatever. We want to show off, and a great pleasure comes when people admire it. Imagine if you are alone in the world, or if you are alone in an island. Would you be going around with a Gucci bag? I don't think so, because there's nobody else to look at it. You're on your own. So our main joy of getting things is when other people, friends and family, admire it. Now Arjuna's logic is that if, we want this kingdom and opulence so that I can show off in front of my cousins. And if I kill them and I get the kingdom, who do I show it to? There's nobody left to show it to. So there's no enjoyment in that. So the second argument is that I'm not going to enjoy even if I get the kingdom. Prabhupada says that just like a person who is not hungry, a person who is not hungry is not inclined to cook. You know, if you're not hungry, you don't care about cooking. Those who are staying alone, and it happens with me. You know, sometimes I feel lazy, I don't cook, and when finally I'm hungry, I go to the kitchen. Okay, now what do I have to make? So it happens like that. When you're not hungry, you're not inclined to cook. So Arjuna is not. He doesn't want the kingdom. He doesn't want to kill. So why should he fight? So that's his thinking. And he is considering going to the forest and just meditating. He wants to escape because his sole opportunity in gaining the kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers, which he doesn't like to do. So it's a dilemma actually. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and we are talking 5,000 years ago, not today. Today, if you don't have this job, you can apply to 10 other jobs. But in those times, the Kshatriya has to rule a kingdom. It can be a very small kingdom, but a Kshatriya has to take care of the kingdom. If that is not there, there's nothing he can do. So Arjuna is suggesting to Krishna, Krishna, I'll go to the forest and meditate. And that is not a job of Kshatriya. That's a job of a Brahmana. So Krishna says, even if you go to forest, you'll be frustrated because that is not your personality. And from 32 to 35 verse, Arjuna again gives various reasons. Kim no rajena govinda, kim bhoger jivitena va, yesham arthe kamshitam no rajyam bhoga sukhani cha, ta imeva stitha yuddhe pranam tyaktva dhanani cha, acharya pitara putras tathaiva cha pitamaha, मातुला श्वशुरा पौत्रा श्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदना अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्य धार्तराष्ट्रान् का प्रीति स्या जनार्दना. O Govinda, of what avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those whom we may desire them are now arrayed in this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-laws, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, Madhusudana, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for 3 worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So Arjuna, as I said, he exhibits a typical calculation of material life. He feels that fighting will not give him any enjoyment because he cannot show his opulence to others. Like I said, if you have something nice, you want to show it off, but if there's nobody to show off, then what's the point? And then the second thing is, Arjun did not want to kill the relatives. Even if there's any need to kill them, Krishna can kill them. He doesn't want to be involved. He wants to be the good person. And he calls Govinda, he calls Krishna Govinda. Govinda means the one who gives pleasure to cows and senses. Go means sense. Go means cows. Krishna gives pleasure to the cows and Krishna gives pleasure to our senses. But Arjuna got it wrong. Govinda is not there to give us pleasure. Prabhupada says God is not a order supplier. We made God order supplier. Krishna, I want this, 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 this. This is my order. He is not order supplier. He's not standing there like you go to a restaurant taking order. What do you want? He's not there for that. So Arjuna is calling him Govinda deliberately so that Krishna, you're Govinda, you're supposed to give pleasure to senses. my senses are not feeling pleasure killing these people. So he called him Govinda. But he got it wrong. Govinda means, the right conception of Govinda is that Lord will satisfy the senses as much as you deserve, not as much as you want. Right? I deserve a Maruti, but I desire a Lamborghini. I won't get it. What I deserve, I get it. So Govinda, and the other thing is Govind. When you satisfy Govinda's senses, like when you water the root of a tree, all the leaves get nourished, right? Yes. When you want to nourish a plant, what do? You water the roots. All the plant get nourished. Similarly, when you satisfy Govinda, when you satisfy Krishna, we automatically get satisfied. That is how it works. It is not that you tell Govinda, give me this and I'll be satisfied. He's not there for that. So you have to satisfy Krishna and in turn you get satisfied. One example, I think it was Prabhupada he gave. Imagine, these rich multi-millionaires, they go in big limousines and all that. For example, Mr. Ambani, he goes in a luxury car. Guess which car does his driver go in? Same luxury car. His driver is also going in the same luxury car as Mr. Ambani. Why? Because he is serving him. He is a servant. Similarly, when you serve Krishna, you get exact same things that Krishna is enjoying if you truly serve him. Just as a driver is in the same car as the billionaire. It's an example. So, what does Krishna want? So in life, this is the practical application. Down, I've written it. One should give up the selfish likes and dislikes and fulfill Krishna's desire. You don't go in front of Krishna. When you go to the temple, don't go to front of Krishna and tell him your desire. That's not the right way. Tell Krishna, whatever you desire, let that happen. Whatever you desire, let that happen. Make me an instrument for your desire. So why do you think Krishna is so determined to fight? You know, I've heard that there is one. I won't name that religion, but there's one religion, one community for whom Krishna is like a villain because he instigated such a big war. So many millions died. So Krishna instigated the war. Arjun didn't want to fight. But Krishna instigated him and caused so much of death. Why do you think Krishna wanted the war? Because here I've highlighted it. Because if you offend Krishna, he doesn't care. You can give gali also, he doesn't care. He actually laugh, But if you offend his devotees, Krishna will never forgive that. So in Vaishnava, in ISKCON, we are often told the greatest offense you can do in your life is offend a devotee. It's a very, very big offense. There is no counter for that. There's a difference between sin and offense. Sin is different, offense is different. Offense is when you offend a person, a devotee, and that's a big sin. So Krishna will never forgive if you offend a devotee. But you can offend him, Krishna, whatever you want. You can give him gali, you can do whatever he loves. He likes it. It's just an interaction. But devotees, Krishna is very particular. So here what happened? The Kauravas offended the true, pure devotees of Krishna. The Pandavas were pure devotees of Krishna. Their whole life was devoted to Krishna. Krishna was their life and soul. And Kauravas, time and again, they offended. They insulted their wife. Draupadi was badly insulted. So Krishna will never. In fact, at one point, I heard somewhere that all the offenses were still forgivable, but what they did to Mother Draupadi can never be forgiven, ever. So Krishna wanted the war. He doesn't forgive a devotee's offender. So Krishna was determined for the war. And Arjuna's third argument, first, compassion, he doesn't want to kill. Second, he says, even if I kill, I won't be able to enjoy it. Third argument is the fear of sinful reactions. How is there sin? Because Arjuna is a Kshatriya dharma is to fight. So where did the sin come from? The sin came because, according to Shastras, killing one's own family member is a sin. So it's a catch-22 situation. Okay? The Shastras say that aggressors, Adatai in Sanskrit, I think it's Adatai, the one there's a list of Adatai, 6 type of people they should be killed. But relatives should not be killed. So these people are relatives and they're senior also. So that is, Arjuna feels that might be a sin. That would be a sin. I'll go to hell if I kill them. So he said, Papam eva shrayed asman hatveta adatayina tasmanarha vayam hantum dhata rashtran svabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhina shyama madhava. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of God's fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Third argument is the sin. Yadyapeteena pashyanti lobopahata chetasa kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam katham na jneyam asmabhihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's own family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying the family, engage in such act of sin? So Arjuna is now talking about sinful reaction. Why does he want to forgive them? Because Arjuna is looking at the Dharma Shastra. There are different Shastra. Dharma Shastra says that you should forgive. But Arthashastra says that 6 type of aggressors should be killed. This is 5,000 years ago, not today. You can't kill today anybody. 6 type of people over here. One who gives you poison can be killed. One who sets fire to your house can be killed. One who attacks you with a deadly weapon can be killed. One who takes your money, a thief who plunders riches can be killed. One who occupies your land, your property can be killed. One who kidnaps the wife can be killed. These 6 people can be killed according to Arthashastra. Now guess what? The Kauravas did all of these. The Kauravas did all of these and they should be killed. They burned the house and they insulted the wife and they occupied the land. They did all of these. So they should be killed according to Arthashastra. But Arjuna is following Dharma Shastra at this point. So he thinks they should not be killed. They should be forgiven because they're relatives, number 1. Number 2, they're seniors. And he didn't want to risk going to hell. Just for fighting for this earthly kingdom, he didn't want to risk going to hell forever. The hell can be a long time. We don't know. Many, many years. And he addresses Krishna as Madhava. Madhava means husband of goddess of fortune. Lakshmi's husband is Madhava. Madhava, husband of goddess of fortune. So for Lakshmi, wherever Lakshmi is there, fortune is there. Arjuna is indirectly telling Krishna, you are Madhava. You are supposed to bring fortune, good fortune, but then why are you putting me in this, which is going to bring misfortune? From Arjuna's perspective, this war is nothing but misfortune. So, but you know what? Arjuna, after all these arguments, we see we see a side of Arjuna which is saintly. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he is a devotee of Krishna, but we see that he is actually at heart, he is a saint. So when he's talking, we can guess that he's saintly side. So Kshatriyas have this code, Kshatriya, if one Kshatriya challenges another Kshatriya on two occasions, one is for a battle, the other is for a game of, what's it, not a chess, what's it called? Dude. Dude, what's it called in English? Ludo. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, you know that, right? In Mahabharata, they had this Dyut Krida. So, for Kshatriyas, if one Kshatriya calls another Kshatriya come play, he should not refuse. He has to play. That's the rule. If one Kshatriya challenges another one for a battle, he has to take it. He cannot refuse. But on one condition he can refuse. If he sees that the outcome is going to be bad, he can refuse. So that's why people criticize Yudhishthir, because during the Dyut Krida, the outcome was becoming worse and worse, but he still continued. So anyway, so Arjuna is thinking that the outcome is not going to be good, so I don't have to fight. By Kshatriya code, he is supposed to fight because he was challenged, but then Arjuna is thinking the outcome seems to be very bad, everyone is going to die and there's all misfortunes, I don't have to fight. But Prabhupada gives the example of Lord Rama. Lord Rama was a Kshatriya king, and the aggressor Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita. So did Rama forgive him? Oh, I'm thinking forgiven. No, he did his duty. He killed the aggressor, and as a Kshatriya. So, Prabhupada gave the example of Rama. Arjuna's fourth argument. Now, during war, what happens? Everybody dies. Like the side which is winning, the other side, everyone dies, literally, right? What happens to those families? Who is sitting back home, the wife and children? All the men are out fighting, and the wife and children are back home waiting for them, and the men die in the battle. The other side, which is the losing side, all the men die. What happens to those people? What happens to their families? Arjuna, being a saintly person, soft-hearted, is thinking on those terms. Kulakshaya pranashyanti kuladharma sanatana dharme nashte kulakritsnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriya srishu dushtashu varshneya jayate varna shankara. When irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. And from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So now all the men have died. Back home there is the women, the ladies are there, children are there. Who's going to take care of them? How are they going to eat? We are not talking about today. Today women are independent. They can get jobs. But 5,000 years ago, women were taken care of by men. So if men die, the women have to raise the children. They have to feed them. What will they do? They might just, they have to sell themselves, right? So Arjuna is concerned that they might just, there will be a rise in prostitution because the woman will get polluted. They might, and the unscrupulous men, the bad men, they'll take advantage of that situation, and the women will get spoiled. And then what happens? Unwanted children will rise in the society. Illegitimate children will rise in the society. So that's what he says next. Sankaro narakayeva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hisham lupta pindodaka kriya. An increase in unwanted population suddenly causes hellish life for both the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance of offering them food and water is entirely stopped. We have a system in our Sanatana Dharma, Pindadan, we give offerings to the forefathers who departed. And so Arjuna says when there is unwanted children, they don't know who their fathers are. The society has become corrupted. So what about these Pindadan and traditions? What will happen to that? That will all be stopped. There's nobody to offer, oblations and food to the departed ancestors. Traditions will go. You know, the next again he says, Dosher ete kulagnanam varna shankara karakai Usadhyante jati dharma kula dharmascha shashvata. By the evil deeds of those who destroy family tradition and thus gave rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Utsanna kula dharmanam manushyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatyat Shruma, O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I've heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed, dwell always in hell. Now Arjuna is just not talking from his head. He says, I have heard from disciplic succession. I've heard from my teachers that those who destroy family traditions will go to hell. So Arjuna is concerned about all these different things. So that was his fourth argument? Fourth or third? Fourth. The first was compassion, the second was no enjoyment, third was sin, and fourth was that family traditions are lost. See, this much is clear, right? And fighting causes family destruction of the family in the 6-step sequence. Elderly people are, all the men die, the elderly die in the war, the family tradition stop, the women become polluted. Chanakya Pandit was a great influencer. Today we hear the word influencer, right? He was a great influencer 5,000 at that time. He used to say, women always should be protected. Nastri swatantre marhate. That's what he said. So women have to be protected in the childhood. The girl needs to be protected by father. In youth, the lady should be protected by husband, and in old age, the woman should be protected by son. Women, it doesn't make them, today's women's liberation movement, Prabhupada was never in favor of it. Women are different, men are different. It's like orange is an apple. You can't make orange into an apple or apple into an orange. They're both different. They both have different roles to play. They can never be equal. So women's job is primarily to nurture the child, raise the family, and they need to be protected. So when all the men die, the fathers die, the sons die, the husbands die, who will take care of the women? So they'll fall prey to bad men. And then unwanted progeny, children come. And when the society has a lot of these bad elements, natural disasters happen. Do you know that? Like these tsunamis and earthquakes and all that. One of the reasons they say society becomes polluted, it is a way of cleaning the society, nature's way of cleaning the society, these natural disasters. And also those who destroy the family tradition go to hell. So these are different reasons Arjuna is giving. Ahobata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadraja sukhalobhena hantum swajana mudyata. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful act. driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Yadimam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanaya dhatrashtra rane hanyus tanme kshemataram bhavet. Better for me if the son of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting in the battlefield. Now Arjun says, I don't want to do this. If they want, they can kill me. I'm not taking my shastra, my weapons, unarmed, they can kill me. Kshatriya's code of conduct is that they should not kill an unarmed enemy. If the enemy doesn't have weapon, you're not supposed to kill them. But Arjuna says, even if they kill me unarmed, that's better than this. Sanjay Uvacha. Now Sanjay is narrating all this, is telling. एवं उक्त्वार्जुन संख्ये रतोपस्थ उपाविशद विसृज्य सशरम चापम शोक संविघ्नमानः. Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow, sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So, that brings us to the end of chapter 1, 46 verse. So Arjuna decides not to fight, he puts down his bow and arrow. Now Prabhupada says, as I said, we see one side of Arjuna that's saintly. He is not a coward. He is not incapable. He's the greatest warrior. He's the greatest Kshatriya, greatest bowman. He defeated even the Devtas and all that. So why so many arguments not to fight? Because, as I said, a devotee of Lord becomes soft-hearted. And we see Arjuna's saintly nature. He says, I don't want to win, forget earth, even Trilokya Raja said, 3 lokas, if you give me, even then I don't want it. He's ready to forgive his enemies. So these are points that tell us that Arjun is actually, a saintly person. Before fighting, he's considering the consequence. You see, what's difference between a deva and asura? A saintly person considers consequence of the action. He doesn't jump right into the action. He considers pros and cons. But the demonic persons don't do it. They just do it. So Arjuna is considering all these things. He's considering the women who is sitting at home. He's considering the enemy soldier, their families. That reveals his saintly nature. Then he's considering, he's willing to be killed unarmed. He is willing to go, he says at one point, I'm willing to beg also, but I don't want to fight. So that shows his detachment. He's not attached to material things. And Prabhupada says that such a person is qualified to receive the self-knowledge. What we are about to understand is the self-knowledge. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. We're learning about self. So a person like Arjuna, who's detached, who doesn't care for wealth, who's willing to forgive, who's soft-hearted, he is the ideal candidate to study Gita, not us. So the practical application, see, the whole problem with Arjun was he was identifying with the body, right? Identification and attachment to the body prevents one from seeing the big picture from the God's perspective and aligning with God's will. See, one interesting, I heard in a lecture, the first chapter, what it's teaching us is the perspective. The 3 people on the battlefield. One is Duryodhan, one is Arjun, and one is Krishna, Lord Krishna. 3 people in the same place, looking at the same things, but they have 3 different perspectives. Duryodhan says, I want to fight, I want to kill, I want to enjoy the kingdom. That's Duryodhan's perspective. Arjuna is also there, same battlefield, he's seeing the same things. And what is he saying? I don't want to fight, I don't want to kill, I don't want the kingdom, I don't want to enjoy the kingdom. That's Arjun's perspective. Krishna is also there, same battlefield, same things. Krishna says you have to fight, whether you win or lose, doesn't matter. But you have to do your duty, fight. So we see three different perspectives. In life, how you look, from how you look determines your thought. Your perspective determines your thought. How you think, it determines your action. And how you act determines your life. So your perspective is important. So here we have to align our perspective with God's perspective. That is the success of life. From our perspective, we may not see it clearly, but from Krishna's perspective, look at life from Krishna's perspective and align with it. Now we move to the second chapter. Second chapter, the first 10 verses, again it's Arjuna's lamentation. So Arjuna is giving more doubts, and at one point he gets completely confused. He says, I don't know what to do. You guide me. So the practical use of this section, the 10 verses, is that in life, sometimes we cannot solve problems of our own. We have intelligence, we have mind, we have everything, but we keep thinking, the problem doesn't get solved. So what do? You take shelter of a higher authority. In Zen Buddhism, there is a saying, a problem cannot be solved on the same level of consciousness. In order to solve a problem, the consciousness has to be above the problem. So if you have a problem, okay, if you discuss with your friend, you both are on the same level. Chances are that you cannot get a proper solution. You have to discuss with someone whose consciousness is above that. Maybe your parents, maybe your elders, maybe your teacher, somebody who's above that. But chances are we just share it with the same level of people. So that doesn't really get any good result. That's a practical application. Okay, so we come to the second chapter. It's called Contents of the Gita Summarized, and it's got a great number of verses. And the first 10 verses we'll do today. Sanjay Vacha Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam Ashrupurna Kulikshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Vacha Madhusudana. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Again, as I said, Arjuna is crying because of his material conception, his ignorance of the real self. He is lamenting for the outward dress. The gross body is the dress. Prabhupada gave a very brilliant example, and I love this example. He says, if somebody is drowning, suppose your friend is drowning in the river, okay? You want to save your friend, and you pull out his kurta or her kurta, whatever, and you take the kurta and take it to the bank. I saved my friend. Is it true? No, you have to save the friend. So when you help the body, there's several missionaries, they feed people, they feed the poor people, they build schools, they build colleges, they build hospitals, they build houses. That is all saving the dress. When you are helping the body, it is like saving the dress of a drowning man. Your soul, unless your soul is saved, you cannot save anybody. If you want to really help somebody, make them Krishna conscious. Yeah. You feed the beggar, you give them bread, you give them whatever, you feed the beggar, you give them money, you build them house. That's just helping the body. It's not helping the soul. So it's like saving the dress of a drowning man. Krishna's address is Madhusudana because Krishna killed the demon Madhu. And Arjuna is indirectly telling him, kill the demon of misunderstanding that's overtaken me. Now, for the first time, um, no, not the first time, in the first chapter, Krishna says, but Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajushtam Swargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Now, Srila Prabhupada has given a big purport explaining the word Bhagavan. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Vyasadeva has used the word Bhagavan for Krishna. Vyasadeva did not say Shri Krishna Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. And what does that mean? Parashara Muni, a great sage Parashara, has said, who can be called Bhagavan? Who is qualified to be called Bhagavan? One who has 6 opulences. What are those 6 opulences? In full, 100%. 100% strength. Nobody stronger than that person. Krishna, he qualifies it. Nobody stronger than Krishna. 100% fame, nobody is more famous than Krishna. 100% wealth, Krishna is the husband of goddess of fortune. Krishna is the husband of Lakshmi. 100% wealth, nobody is more wealthier than Krishna. He owns the entire Brahmand. 100% knowledge, full of beauty. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha, we sing every day in Brahma Samhita. Koti Kamadev, Kamadev is supposed to be very handsome, beautiful, whatever. If crores of Kamadev is put together, Krishna is more beautiful than that. 100% beauty. 100% renunciation. Krishna is completely detached. When he left Vrindavan, he just left Vrindavan. He never came back. When he finished his Leela on earth, he just went. Complete detachment. So somebody who is full in 6 opulences can be called Bhagavan. We have little bit of these. We have little strength, we have little fame, little wealth, little beauty, but Krishna has 100%. So he is Bhagavan. So that's the explanation of Bhagavan. You will find it in the purport when you read through it. Krishna further says, O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. Now he is really harsh. Krishna is chastising Arjuna, calling him impotent. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, or chastiser of enemy. Klepyamma smagama partha naitattvayupapadyate shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. Arjuna, now he is arguing. He is not listening, he is arguing in a little challenging way. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana Ishubi Pratiyotsyami Pujarha Varisudana. As though Arjuna is saying, Krishna, you are telling me to kill my teacher whom I worship. You're telling me to kill my grandfather. Can you do it? Will you do it? Can you kill your Sandipani Muni, your teacher? Will you do it? So it's as though Arjuna is, arguing. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke hatvarta kamastu guru nihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradignan. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the life of great souls Who are my teachers? Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with the blood. Right? He didn't want to kill his guru. Sorry. न चेतद्विद्म कतरन्नो गरीयो यद्वा जयेमा यदि वा नो जयेयु यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्तेव स्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्रा. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are standing before us on the battlefield. Now look at this. Arjuna is telling, he's in the battlefield to fight, and he's saying, I don't know which is better, to conquer them or to be conquered by them. How ridiculous is that? If you're sitting in the exam and you're thinking, I don't know whether to pass is good or to fail is good. It's like that. You are in the battlefield to fight, to win. But he is so perplexed. He's saying, I don't know which is better. to be victorious or to be defeated. Such is his great dilemma. And now, it's a fifth last argument. He has confessed, I'm confused. I can't decide. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava pritchami tam dharma sammudha cheta yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now I'm confused about my duty. I've lost all composure because of my miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple, a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. That is a turning point. Till now, they were friends. Actually, not. First, Krishna was Arjun's servant. He was a charioteer. First, they were friends. They were same. Then Krishna became lowered. He became a charioteer servant. Now Arjuna has put Krishna higher. You're my teacher. Please instruct me. Krishna did not instruct until Arjuna asked him. Until Arjuna surrendered to him. So, we should not give unsolicited advice to people. When people ask for advice, we have to give advice. That's a lesson. So, this is a turning point in that. And Arjuna says, I find no means to dry away with grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudya yachokamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapatnam riddham rajyam suranam apichadipatyam. Arjun says, now I can't overcome my grief. It's so big. That's why I surrender to you. Please guide me. Even if I get all the lokas, forget earth, I still won't be happy. Sanjay Uvacha. Eva muktva rishikesham gudakesha parantapa nayotsya iti govindam uktva tushnim babhuvafa. Sanjay said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, the chastiser enemy, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Now this is interesting. Arjuna first surrendered and he said to Krishna, you are my teacher, I surrender to you. And then he says, I am not going to fight. When you said you are my teacher, that means you're supposed to listen, right? Even after I make you the teacher, I am deciding. I am not fighting. So that's interesting. 10, verse number 10, the last verses today. Tamuvacha Rishikesha Prahasanniva Bharata Senayor Ubayor Madhye Vishidan Vishidantamidam vacha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. O descendant of Bharata, Dhritarashtra. Sanjay is calling Dhritarashtra. Why did Krishna smile? He always smiles. He smiled because suddenly, from friend he became a teacher. So he smiled. So now he'll give the instructions. So we've gone through this, right? Arjuna's saintliness. Um, Dress of a drowning man. It's useless to save a dress of a drowning man. Um, yeah. So Arjuna was the greatest warrior. He had all the qualifications, but still, when life threw problem at him, he could not solve it. He had to take shelter of a higher authority. So, in other words, our material qualification is not going to help all the time. If you see great PhD people, they're committing suicides. In IIT is supposed to be the greatest, all the big brainers, and you find suicides. So the material qualification does not necessarily equip you to deal with life. Material qualification can get you great jobs. That's it. Full stop. But when you have some real problem, in Sanskrit, they dharma sankat, what to do? That doesn't help. What helps? Your Krishna consciousness. How conscious you are of Krishna, how much of sadhana you're doing. Your spiritual strength is what going to help you. With that, let's come to the end of this. And we'll do Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gurudev. Thank you so much.